The call that shattered my world came on a Tuesday afternoon, right as I was finishing up a client's security audit. My phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number, and I almost let it go to voicemail. "Hello, is this Hank? I'm Bruno from the Lakeside Resort. We found your dog Max wandering around the hotel grounds." I blinked, my fingers freezing over my keyboard. There must be some mistake. Max is at home. "Sir, the tag clearly shows Max with your phone number. Black lab mix, red collar." My stomach dropped. Max was supposed to be at home, where I'd left him this morning before heading to work, where Vada had promised to check on him during her lunch break before leaving for her corporate retreat. "I'll be right there," I said, already grabbing my keys. The drive to the resort was a blur of confusion and rationalization. Maybe Vada had brought Max for company and forgotten to tell me. She'd been distracted lately, working late hours on this merger deal. Just last night, she'd kissed me goodbye while packing her overnight bag, promising to call when she got settled in her room. My phone chirped with a text. It was Leon. "Beer tonight? Got that new IPA you were talking about?" I smiled despite my unease. Leon had been my best friend since college, always there with a cold beer and bad jokes when I needed them. I texted back a quick "can't tonight, something came up with Max," before pulling into the resort's parking lot. The lobby was all marble and soft lighting, definitely above my pay grade as an IT security consultant. A young guy at the front desk pointed me toward the back office where they were keeping Max. "Your wife dropped him off this morning," Bruno said as he led me down a hallway. "Said she'd be picking him up later." I stopped walking. "My wife dropped him off?" "Yes, sir. Around 9 a.m. She's here for the finance conference, right?" My chest tightened. Vada had told me she was sharing a room with Serenity from work, that pets weren't allowed, that she'd be too busy with team-building exercises to do anything but sleep. Max came bounding out of the office, tail wagging, jumping up to lick my face. I scratched behind his ears, trying to make sense of it all. "Thanks for calling me," I said to Bruno. "I appreciate you looking after him." As I turned to leave, voices drifted from the direction of the hotel bar. Familiar laughter made me pause. Through the glass doors, I could see Vada sitting with her co-workers, champagne glass in hand. She was wearing the red dress I'd given her for our anniversary, the one she said was too fancy for a work event. Then I saw him. Leon, walking toward the elevators, wearing my old college football shirt, the one I thought I'd lost months ago. He pressed the button for the 8th floor, the same floor where Vada's room was supposed to be. My phone buzzed again. A text from Vada. "In another boring meeting. Miss you." I stared at the message, then back at the bar where she sat laughing, then at the elevator where Leon had disappeared. The pieces were there, but my mind refused to put them together. Not Vada. Not Leon. Max whined softly, pressing against my leg. I reached down to pat his head, grateful for his solid presence as my world began to tilt sideways. "Come on, buddy," I whispered. "Let's go home and figure this out." But deep down, I already knew. The truth was right there in front of me, wrapped in my missing shirt and sealed with a lying heart emoji. I couldn't leave. Not yet. Something pulled me back toward the hotel bar, even as every step felt like walking through quicksand. Max padded quietly beside me as I found a secluded spot behind a large potted plant, close enough to hear but out of sight. "You should have seen his face when I told him I had another late meeting," Vada was saying, her voice carrying over the soft jazz music. "He's so trusting. It almost makes me feel bad." Serenity leaned in, lowering her voice. "Just make sure you keep your stories straight. Regina's already suspicious about all these team-building sessions." "Don't worry," Vada laughed, twirling her champagne glass. "I've got it covered. Besides, what's she going to do? We're about to land the biggest merger of the year." My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone and started recording. Max whined softly, and I hushed him with a gentle pat. Speaking of covered, Serenity whispered, your boyfriend just went upstairs wearing what looked suspiciously like your husband's shirt. Vada's response was cut off by a sharp voice behind me. Sir, can I help you? I turned to find Percy, one of the junior analysts from Vada's team, staring at me suspiciously. Max's tail wagged at the new arrival. Just picking up my dog, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He got loose somehow. Percy's eyes narrowed. Aren't you Vada's husband? Does she know you're here? I was just leaving. I tugged gently on Max's leash, but Percy stepped closer. Wait, shouldn't you say hello? She's right there. Percy, Regina's commanding voice cut through the tension. The client call is starting. Now. Percy hesitated, then hurried away. I caught Regina's eye for a moment, and something in her expression told me she knew more than she was letting on. As I turned to leave, Vada's voice drifted over again. Remember that time in college when Hank got food poisoning at Leon's birthday party? God, that was the first night I didn't stay to hear the rest. Couldn't bear to. The memory of that night twisted in my gut. I'd spent hours in the bathroom while Leon had supposedly taken care of Vada, making sure she got home safely. In the parking lot, I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Max rested his head on my lap, offering silent comfort. My phone buzzed. Leon, you okay, man? You never skip beer night. I stared at the message, remembering all the times he'd listened to me gush about Vada, all the relationship advice he'd given me. How many of those conversations had he shared with her later, laughing at my expense? Another text came through, this time from Vada. Meeting running late. Don't wait up. Love you. I started the car, my mind racing. The IT security specialist in me knew exactly how to find the truth. Vada had always used the same password pattern. Our anniversary followed by whatever inside joke we were sharing that month, and she backed up everything to her cloud storage. What do you think, Max? I asked, scratching behind his ears. Should we see what other stories they've been keeping straight? Max barked once, as if in agreement. As I pulled out of the parking lot, I caught a glimpse of Leon through an 8th floor window. He was standing there in my shirt, phone in hand, probably texting me another concerned message about missing beer night. My hand steadied on the wheel. The confusion and pain were crystallizing into something harder, colder. By tomorrow, I'd have proof. And then I'd make sure their perfectly crafted stories came crashing down around them. Back home, I sat at my desk, Max curled up at my feet. My hands hovered over the keyboard as I typed in Vada's cloud storage address. The cursor blinked, waiting for the password. Let's see, anniversary plus joke, I muttered. This month's running gag had been about the neighbor's garden gnomes. I typed, 0509 Genome Sweet Gnome. Access granted. My throat went dry as folders appeared on screen. Work documents, photos, videos. And there it was. A folder labeled L. My cursor trembled as I clicked. The first photo punched the air from my lungs. Vada and Leon at a restaurant I'd never seen, his arm around her waist. The timestamp, 3 months ago, when she told me she was at a client dinner. Jesus, I whispered, scrolling through more images. Them at a beach, in a hotel room. Outside our favorite coffee shop, the one where I'd proposed to her. A video file caught my eye. Night before retreat MP4. I clicked play. Security camera footage from our building's lobby showing Leon entering at 11 p.m. last Thursday. Vada had claimed she was working late that night. My phone buzzed. Leon. Seriously worried about you, bro. You never miss our Thursday beers. Everything okay with you and Vada? I laughed bitterly, the sound startling Max awake. Another folder caught my eye. Contingency plans. Inside were messages between Vada and Serenity. If Hank finds out, stick to the story about team meetings. Delete everything if he gets suspicious. Leon's ready to play dumb if needed. A chat window popped up. Vada messaging Serenity right now. B. Vada. He showed up at the hotel. Serenity. What? How? Vada. Something about Max. Percy saw him. Serenity. Did he see anything? Vada. Don't think so, but we need to be careful. Serenity. What about the presentation tomorrow? Vada. It'll be fine. He's clueless. Always has been. My fingers clenched into fists. The presentation. The big merger announcement she'd been preparing for weeks. The one that would be live streamed to all major stakeholders. Another message thread appeared. Leon to Vada. Miss you already. Can't wait for next week's business trip. Hank's acting weird. Think he suspects? Nah, he trusts me completely. That's what makes this so easy. The room spun as memories crashed through my mind. Leon introducing us at that college party. Vada asking me to be careful with Leon's feelings when we started dating. Because he'd had a crush on her first. All those late-night work calls that left her smiling at her phone. A new email notification popped up, from Regina to the entire finance team. Reminder, tomorrow's merger announcement will be streamed live at 10 a.m. All presentations must be uploaded to the secure server by 9 a.m. for final review. I stared at the screen, an idea forming. Vada always used her laptop for presentations. The same laptop that automatically connected to any Wi-Fi network she'd previously used, including our home network. My phone buzzed again. Vada. Missing you tonight. Can't wait to come home tomorrow and tell you all about the merger. I looked at Max, who tilted his head as if asking what I planned to do. You know what, buddy? I said, cracking my knuckles and opening my security toolkit. I think it's time we gave them a presentation they'll never forget. The clock showed 11 p.m. I had 10 hours to prepare their public undoing. 10 hours to transform their perfect little affair into a corporate nightmare. My hands flew across the keyboard, steady now with purpose. They thought I was clueless. I'd show them exactly how wrong they were. The hotel's guest Wi-Fi network appeared on my screen at 3 a.m. I'd driven back, parking in a dark corner of the lot where I could maintain a connection. Max dozed in the back seat as I worked. My phone lit up. Leon again. Dude, call me. I'm worried. I ignored it, focusing on the network traffic. There, Vada's laptop, already connected. She always stayed up late before big presentations, perfecting every detail. A message notification popped up on her screen as I watched through my remote access. Leon. Can't sleep. Thinking about you in the next room. Vada. Soon we won't have to hide anymore. Just need to handle this carefully. Leon. What's the plan? Vada. After the merger goes through, I'll get the promotion. Then I'll tell him I'm leaving. Moving to the London office. Leon. And I'll follow a month later. Perfect alibi. My hands shook as I copied their entire conversation history. 3 years. They'd been planning this for 3 years. A new window opened on Vada's screen. Her presentation draft. I watched as she tweaked animations, adjusted figures, perfected her script for tomorrow's live stream. Time for some edits, I muttered, fingers flying across my keyboard. I began embedding the evidence, photos, messages, videos, into hidden slides, all set to trigger the moment she clicked start. A knock on my car window nearly gave me a heart attack. Sir? A security guard shined his flashlight through the glass. Everything okay? I rolled down the window, gesturing to Max. Just needed a quiet place to work. Dog likes the car rides. The guard's face softened at Max's tail wag. All right, but maybe find somewhere else. We've had reports of suspicious activity. As he walked away, another message appeared on Vada's screen. Serenity. Percy's asking questions about Hank being here earlier. Vada. Handle it. I can't deal with this right now. Serenity. What if he tells Regina? Vada. Then we'll discredit him. Won't be the first time. My blood ran cold. I dug deeper into their message history, finding conversations about other people they'd manipulated, careers they'd sabotaged to keep their secret. A new email arrived in Vada's inbox from Regina. Final presentation review at 8 a.m. No exceptions. Perfect. They'd be too busy with the review to notice the altered files until it was too late. My phone buzzed again. This time, a text from our neighbor Louisa. "Hank, dear, is everything okay? Saw you drive past 3 times tonight." I replied quickly. "All good. Late night work emergency." Another message appeared on Vada's screen. "Leon, remember when we started this? In his shirt after that party?" Vada. "Best decision we ever made. He never suspected a thing." Leon. "Almost feel bad." Almost. Vada. "Don't. He's sweet but simple. London will be our fresh start." The last piece clicked into place. I saved my work, embedding it deep within her presentation files. Then I added one final touch, a signature slide that would appear after all their secrets were exposed. Dedicated to my wife Vada and my best friend Leon. May your new life together be as honest as your old one was false. Max whined from the back seat, sensing my tension. "Almost done, buddy," I whispered, checking the time. 4:30 a.m. Just a few more hours until the truth sets us all free. I started the car, my mind racing with final preparations. They thought I was simple, sweet. By this time tomorrow, they'd learn exactly how wrong they were about everything, including me. The morning sun was rising as I pulled into our driveway. Max needed feeding, and I needed coffee. Lots of it. My phone had been buzzing nonstop. "Leon, meeting for breakfast. Need to talk to you about something important." Vada. "Good morning, love. Big day today. Wish me luck." Serenity. "Hey, Hank, quick question about tonight's celebration dinner." I ignored them all, hands trembling as I poured coffee. The live stream would start in 4 hours. My laptop pinged. Vada was already accessing her presentation files. My phone rang. Regina's name flashed on the screen. "Hello," I answered, trying to keep my voice steady. "Hank?" Her tone was clipped, professional. "I saw you at the hotel yesterday." My heart stopped. "I also saw the security footage from the past few months," she continued. "The late-night meetings, the interactions between certain parties." "Regina, I'm not finished. In 20 minutes, I'm reviewing your wife's presentation. Is there anything I should know about?" I hesitated. "You might want to watch it all the way through." A long pause. "I see." Another pause. "Good luck, Hank." The line went dead. My laptop chimed again. Vada was making last-minute changes to her slides. I watched through my remote access as she practiced her opening lines. "Today marks a historic merger between..." A message popped up on her screen. "Leon." "Nervous?" Vada. "A little. This promotion means everything." Leon. "You've got this. Think about London. Think about us." Vada. "What if Hank fights the divorce?" Leon. "He won't. Trust me. I know exactly how to handle him." My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "They'll destroy you if you expose them. You don't know everything." I stared at the message, then at Max, who was watching me with concerned eyes. "Too late to back out now, buddy," I said, scratching his ears. My laptop showed Vada entering the conference room. Regina was there, along with the board members and major stakeholders. The live stream would reach thousands. Another message appeared on Vada's screen. "Serenity. Percy's acting weird. Says he needs to talk to you before the presentation." Vada. "Stall him. I can't deal with this now." I watched as she connected her laptop to the presentation system. "Any minute now." My phone rang again. Leon. "Hey man." His voice was casual, friendly. "We still on for drinks tonight?" Vada mentioned a celebration dinner for the merger. Actually, I said, surprising myself with how calm I sounded, I think I'll be busy tonight. Everything okay? You've been acting strange. Have I? I watched Vada testing her slides. Maybe I'm just finally paying attention. What's that supposed to? Goodbye, Leon. Enjoy the live stream. I hung up as Regina stepped to the podium on my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this historic announcement. Vada stood, smoothing her dress, the red one from yesterday, and walked to the front. The camera zoomed in on her confident smile as she reached for her laptop. My phone lit up one last time. Unknown number. Last chance to stop this. Leon. Hank, what did you mean about the live stream? Vada. Love you. Wish you could be here. I turned off my phone and leaned back in my chair, Max's head resting on my knee. On screen, Vada clicked to start her presentation. Today marks a historic moment, she began, unaware that in exactly 30 seconds, history would indeed be made, just not the kind she was expecting. I took a sip of coffee and waited for the show to begin. Vada's voice filled my home office through the live stream. This merger represents not just a joining of companies, but of trust, loyalty, and... Her words cut off as the first hidden slide appeared. The restaurant photo of her and Leon filled the massive screen behind her. I'm sorry, there seems to be a technical... Vada's voice shook as she frantically clicked her presentation remote. More photos appeared. The beach. The hotel. Their secret messages scrolled across the screen like credits in a movie. The conference room erupted in whispers. Regina stood, her face a mask of professional concern. Vada, perhaps we should pause. No, I can fix this. Vada's fingers flew across her keyboard, but each attempt only triggered more revelations. My phone started ringing. Leon. I let it go to voicemail as I watched him burst into the conference room on screen, face pale. Turn it off, he shouted, reaching for Vada's laptop. But it was too late. The video from last Thursday played in high definition. Leon entering our building. Vada greeting him in the lobby. Their kiss by the elevator. Oh God, Vada whispered into her mic, the sound carrying across the live stream. Messages continued scrolling. He's too trusting. London will be perfect. Almost feel bad? Percy stood up from the audience. I knew something was wrong when I saw Hank at the hotel. Serenity tried to reach the podium, but Regina blocked her path with one stern look. The stakeholders were typing furiously on their phones. The stock ticker in the corner of the live stream started to drop. Ladies and gentlemen, Regina's voice cut through the chaos, please remain seated. But people were already standing, pointing, recording on their phones. In the background, I could see board members huddled together, their faces dark with concern. My final slide appeared. A presentation by Vada and Leon on trust, loyalty, and 3 years of lies. Directed by the simple husband. Leon grabbed Vada's arm, whispering urgently in her ear. She shoved him away, mascara running down her cheeks. Hank, she sobbed into the mic. Please. I can explain. The livestream chat exploded. OMG, did this just happen? Someone record this. Rip that merger. Career suicide live on stream. My laptop pinged with incoming emails. Hank, call me immediately. Regina, how could you do this? Serenity, you've ruined everything. Leon, please come to the hotel. Vada, I closed my laptop, cutting off the chaos. Max patted over, resting his chin on my knee. What do you think, buddy? Should we check our messages? My phone buzzed again. This time it was Louisa. Just saw the live stream, bringing over lasagna and wine. No arguments. I smiled, scratching Max's ears. The revenge felt different than I'd expected. Not exactly sweet, but not bitter either. Just final. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I could see Louisa holding her famous lasagna, concern written on her face. Before opening the door, I took one last look at my phone. Vada had sent a single message. I never meant to hurt you. I deleted it without reading the rest, then turned off my phone. The truth was out there now, spreading across social media, corporate emails, and boardrooms. There would be consequences. For all of us. But for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Coming, I called to Louisa, standing up from my desk. Max followed, tail wagging hopefully at the smell of lasagna. Sometimes, I thought, the best revenge isn't served cold. It's served live, in high definition to everyone who needs to see it. Louisa's lasagna was half gone when my laptop started pinging again. The live stream had ended, but the aftermath was just beginning. You should see what's trending, Louisa said, showing me her phone. Corporate affair gone wrong is #1. I opened my laptop to find an email from Regina marked urgent. Hank, board meeting in progress. Merger canceled. Legal team requesting all evidence. Can you join video call? R. As I clicked the link, my screen filled with faces of board members, lawyers, and Regina at the center. Mr. Chapman, one of the lawyers, began, "We understand you have documentation." "Everything's authenticated," I said, sharing my screen. "Timestamps, metadata, GPS locations. 3 years' worth." Regina's lips twitched. "And the hotel's security footage?" "Uploaded to their cloud server every night at midnight. They really should upgrade their firewall." The legal team scribbled notes as I walked them through the evidence. Halfway through, my doorbell rang again. "Don't answer it," Louisa whispered, peeking through the curtains. "It's Leon." I unmuted my mic. "Excuse me, I need to handle something." Leon was pounding on the door now. "Hank, open up, man. We need to talk." I walked to the door but didn't open it. "Everything you need to say was in those messages, Leon." "It's not what you think. We were going to tell you." "After the merger? After London?" I raised my voice. "After destroying my life." "You destroyed our careers," he shouted back. "No," I said calmly. "You did that when you decided to sleep with my wife." Silence fell. Then Vada's voice. "Hank, please, just let us explain." I returned to my laptop where the board members waited. "Sorry for the interruption. Shall we continue?" The pounding resumed, but now neighbors were coming out, phones recording. Leon and Vada's voices carried through the door. "This is your fault." "Vada, my fault? You said he'd never check your cloud." "Leon, you wore his shirt to the hotel, you idiot." "Vada." Regina cleared her throat. "Hank, the board has reached a decision. Given the circumstances, we're terminating both their positions, effective immediately. Additionally, we'd like to offer you a consulting contract to review our security protocols." More shouting outside. Serenity had arrived, screaming about her suspended position. Max started barking. "Should I call the police?" Louisa asked, phone ready. As if on cue, a police car pulled up. Someone had already called them. "Mr. Chapman," the lawyer continued, "we'll need you to sign some NDAs about the merger details, but you're free to pursue any personal legal action." Through the window, I watched as an officer approached my door. Leon was still shouting. Vada was crying, and Serenity was filming everything on her phone. "Actually," I said to the lawyer, "I think the public humiliation is enough. Sometimes the truth is the best punishment." The officer's voice carried through my speakers. "Ma'am, sir, you need to leave the premises now." "He ruined us," Leon shouted. "No," I heard Vada say, her voice breaking. "We did that ourselves." I closed the laptop as they were escorted away. Louisa squeezed my shoulder and Max pressed against my leg. My phone lit up with a final message from Regina. "Dinner next week? I'd like to discuss that consulting position. Bring the dog." Outside, a small crowd of neighbors had gathered, watching as Leon's car screeched away. Vada stood on the sidewalk for a moment, staring at our house, before Serenity pulled her toward their waiting Uber. "Well," Louisa said, serving another piece of lasagna, "I guess some marriages end with a bang, not a whimper." I scratched Max's ears, watching as the last traces of my old life drove away. "No," I replied. "Some marriages end exactly the way they deserve to." The morning sun streamed through my home office window as I finished signing the divorce papers. My lawyer had made it simple. No alimony, clean break. All assets remained with their original owner. Vada hadn't contested anything. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Financial Times. Major merger collapse leads to executive restructuring. Below it was a message from Regina. Security audit meeting at 2. Don't forget the treats for Max. Max perked up at the sound of his name, tail wagging as I grabbed his leash. The walk to the office would do us both good. Outside, Louisa was tending her garden. "Did you see?" she called out. "They're selling their house." I glanced 2 doors down at Leon's place, the for sale sign fresh on the lawn. He'd taken a job on the West Coast after every financial firm in the city had turned him down. My phone chimed again. Serenity. "I know you won't respond, but she's sorry. We all are." Delete. The security guard at Regina's office building greeted Max with a treat. "The hero arrives," he laughed. "Your video went viral in the security community, you know. Best corporate takedown ever." Regina was waiting in the conference room. Slides ready. "Ah, my favorite consulting team," she smiled, scratching Max's ears. "Ready to show these executives how real security works?" "Actually," I said, pulling out my laptop, "I have something interesting to share first." I opened my email, showing her the message I'd received that morning. "Dear Mr. Chapman, your recent exposure of corporate vulnerabilities has caught our attention. We represent several Fortune 500 companies seeking to enhance their security protocols. Would you consider heading our new cybersecurity division? Best regards, Marcus Thompson, CO." Regina's eyes widened. "You're not leaving us, are you?" "Depends," I smiled. "Think you could match their offer?" She laughed, pulling out a folder. "Already ahead of you. How does head of digital security sound? Full department, your own team, and yes, Max can stay as chief morale officer." As we discussed details, my phone lit up with a final message from Vada. "Signing papers now." I know it means nothing, but I truly am. I deleted it before finishing. Some apologies came too late. "You know," Regina said, watching me pocket my phone, "when I first saw the signs of their affair, I considered telling you." "Why didn't you?" "Because I knew you'd handle it better than any of us could imagine," she smiled. Though I didn't expect quite such a spectacular show. The conference room began filling with executives. Max settled under my chair as I pulled up my presentation. "Today," I began, "we're going to talk about trust, security, and how the biggest threats often come from within." My phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. "You think you won? Watch your back." I showed it to Regina, who immediately typed something on her phone. "Security is escorting Leon out of the building," she whispered. "He tried to sneak in through the parking garage." I nodded, turning back to my presentation. On screen, my first slide appeared. Digital security in the age of betrayal. How to protect what matters. Max snoozed peacefully as I began my talk. Outside, life moved on. Somewhere, Vada was starting over. Somewhere else, Leon was learning that actions have consequences. And here I was exactly where I needed to be. Stronger, wiser, and finally free of the weight of other people's lies. "Let's begin," I said to the room, clicking to my next slide. Because the truth is, security isn't just about protecting data. It's about protecting yourself.